Our solar system literally revolves around the sun. The sun shines because it burns hydrogen gas at its core, creating energy that it then uses to warm the planets. The sun also hides many things, including a small planet that rushes around it, Mercury. The planet Mercury is not only extremely warm because of how close it is to the sun, but it's also filled with countless craters and remnants. That's because Mercury, early in its history, went through quite a cataclysmic event. Another planet smashed into the young Mercury, blowing off its outer layers, leaving just the core, which is what we see today. Yet, the next planet, Venus, gets even more crazy. Venus is covered by a thick layer of clouds made of the gas carbon dioxide. All that carbon dioxide traps the heat of the sun, which heats up Venus to nearly 1,000 degrees. All that carbon dioxide comes from the thousands of volcanoes on the surface of Venus. Venus is one hot, crazy planet. But the next planet is somewhat familiar. It's Earth, the only planet we know that harbors life and people, our home world. Beyond Earth is Mars. Scientists think that Mars is the only other planet in the solar system that could possibly harbor any form of life. We've explored Mars more than any other planet. Who knows, maybe someday people will colonize the red planet. Past Mars is the king of the planets, Jupiter. It's called this because it's the biggest planet. Almost 80 moons lie within its gravitational pull, and it has a huge set of swirling clouds and major storms. Saturn, the next planet, is also a ball of gas. Saturn is surrounded by spectacular rings. Those rings come from two moons that Saturn ripped apart long ago. The rings are actually made of small chunks of rock and ice. Saturn has a lot of storms and chaotic cloud structures too. They're just not as visible as Jupiter's are. Saturn also has a lot of moons, just like Jupiter. One of them, Titan, has long fascinated scientists. Its thick clouds hide lakes, seas, and weather. Some scientists even believe that Titan may be able to harbor life. We've only visited the last two planets with space probes once. Icy Uranus and frigid Neptune. Neptune is mysterious because the winds on Neptune whip as the fastest in the solar system. Yet Neptune is so far from the sun. In theory, the sun shouldn't be giving it enough energy to generate that type of extreme weather. All that power must be coming from somewhere else, but we don't know where. Hi, Steam members. So this is a really simple activity, but I think it's a pretty fun one. So basically, it's just creating a model of the solar system using some supplies you should have around your house. So for the terrestrial inner planets that are made of rock, you can just pick up some rocks, and you can find some cool rocks in your yard like I did, or you can paint some rocks to look like each of the planets. And then for the outer planets, what I did was just blew up some balloons to represent how they're made of gas. And it also shows kind of how the gaseous planets are much bigger than the rocky planets. Uh, so, you can just see that that represents the outer planets pretty well. And then another fun thing you can do with these once you kind of make them and align them with the respective color of each of the planets, which you can look at going back to our tour, is line up each of the planets based upon how far they actually are from the sun, because that's really interesting because they're not proportionally spaced. So, for example, if you were to put the sun as a marker in some position and you wanted to show how far they actually were from the sun relative to each other, we could make a foot an astronomical unit. That's like the basic measurement they use to measure planetary distance. So you would put Mercury about 3 inches from the sun, Venus about 7 inches, Earth about a foot, Mars about a foot and a half, Jupiter about 5 feet, Saturn about 12 feet, Uranus about 27, and Neptune about 40. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.